I need you to listen carefully because what I'm about to tell you happened during a normal night shift in a real hospital where I was supposed to be completely safe. Hospitals are supposed to be quiet at night, calm, peaceful, but there's something about hospital night shifts. Long empty hallways, dim lights, machines making soft beeping sounds. It doesn't feel peaceful. It feels wrong. I had just started working as a night nurse. 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. It was my third night on the job. Nothing unusual had happened before. Just patients sleeping, nurses doing rounds, everything normal. But that night, everything changed. It started around 2:13 a.m. I remember the time exactly, because that's when the monitor at the nurse station made a strange noise. Not a normal alert, not a patient alarm. Something different. I looked at the screen. Room 307. But that didn't make sense. Room 307 wasn't supposed to have a patient. It was empty. I knew that for a fact. I even checked it earlier that night. No bed in use. No equipment on. Nothing. But on the screen, there was a heart rate. Slow. Steady. Beep, beep, beep. I frowned. Maybe it was a system glitch. That happens sometimes. I called out to another nurse. No answer. The station was empty. Everyone was busy on other floors. I was alone. I stood there for a few seconds, just staring at the monitor. The heart rate was still going. Calm. Normal. Like someone was lying there, breathing. I grabbed my clipboard. I told myself it was just a mistake, just a faulty monitor. And I started walking toward room 307. The hallway lights were dim. Half of them were turned off to keep things quiet for patients. My footsteps echoed softly as I walked. The further I went, the quieter it got. Too quiet. Even the machines from other rooms felt far away. I reached the door. Room 307. Closed. The small window on the door was completely dark inside. No light, no movement. I slowly reached for the handle and paused because inside I heard something. A slow, steady, breathing sound. Not from a machine, from a person. My hand froze on the handle. Room 307 was empty. It had to be. I checked it myself, but the breathing continued. Slow, deep, like someone was lying in the dark, waiting. I should have walked away. I should have called someone, but I didn't. I opened the door. Slowly. The room was dark, completely dark. The only light came from the hallway behind me. I stepped inside. The air felt cold, colder than the rest of the hospital. I reached for the light switch and turned it on. The room lit up. Empty bed. No patient. No equipment running. Nothing. Just like before. I let out a small breath. See nothing. Just a glitch. I turned around to leave, and that's when I heard it. Right behind me, on the bed, a soft shift. Like weight pressing down. Slowly, very slowly, the mattress started to sink. Like someone invisible was lying down right in front of me. I couldn't move. I just stood there, staring at the bed. The mattress was still sinking. Slowly, like someone invisible was putting their full weight down. Right in front of me, my heart started beating faster. This wasn't a glitch. This wasn't normal. I took a step back. My hand was shaking. The bed stopped moving. Silence. For a moment, everything felt normal again. Too normal. Then, the heart monitor sound came back. Beep, beep, beep. I turned slowly. The monitor next to the bed was on, but I hadn't turned it on. It was completely off when I entered the room. Now the screen showed a heartbeat. Steady, calm, like a patient was lying right there. I walked closer, slow, careful, trying to control my breathing. The screen showed vitals. Heart rate, normal. Oxygen, normal. Everything, normal. But there was no one on the bed. I reached out my hand, slowly, and placed it just above the mattress. I didn't touch it. I just held it there, and I felt it. Warm air, like someone breathing, right under my hand. I pulled my hand back immediately. My chest tightened. That's when I heard it. A whisper, very soft, right next to my ear. Don't leave. I jumped back, almost tripped over the chair behind me. There was no one there, nothing behind me, but I heard it clearly. That voice, it wasn't coming from the hallway. It was inside the room. With me, I rushed to the door and stepped outside. The hallway felt brighter, safer. I turned back to look inside the room. The light was still on. The bed looked normal again. Flat, no shape, no movement. I swallowed hard. Maybe I was just tired. Maybe my mind was playing tricks on me. I had to believe that. I had to. I walked back to the nurse station. My legs felt weak, my hands still shaking. When I got there, I froze. The monitor screen at the station was still showing room 307, still showing a heartbeat. But now there was something else, a name under the patient info. I leaned closer, my eyes trying to focus, because I knew there was no patient assigned to that room, but the screen clearly showed it. Patient name, Daniel Hayes. My stomach dropped. That name felt familiar, like I had heard it before, but I couldn't remember where. Then suddenly, the system made another sound, not a normal alert, something deeper, heavier. The screen updated. Status changed from stable to critical. Beep, beep, beep. Faster now, louder, like someone was dying. Right in that empty room. I looked back toward the hallway, toward room 307, and I realized something that made my blood run cold. The door was slowly closing by itself. I stood there, staring down the hallway. Room 307. The door was still moving, slowly, inch by inch, closing on its own. No one was near it. No air. No reason. Just moving. My chest felt tight. The monitor behind me was still beeping fast. Critical condition, but there was no patient. I forced myself to move, step by step, back toward the room. Every step felt heavier, like someone was pulling me back, telling me not to go. But I had to. I reached the door just before it closed completely. I pushed it open. The room was quiet again. Too quiet. The monitor inside, still on, still showing a heart rate, but slower now. Beep, 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 like it was fading. I stepped closer to the bed. The mattress looked normal again. Flat, empty, no movement. I stared at it for a few seconds. Nothing happened. Then, the machine next to the bed made a sharp sound. Beep, beep, beep. Faster, louder. I looked at the screen. Heart rate rising suddenly. Too fast. Dangerously fast. My hands started shaking again. This didn't make sense. There was no patient. Nothing connected. But the machine was acting like someone was in pain. Then the bed moved again, this time stronger, like something sat up suddenly, right in the middle of the mattress. I froze. I could see it clearly now, the shape, like someone sitting there, invisible, but real. The sheets pulled slightly, as if hands were gripping them. My heart was pounding so loud, I couldn't hear anything else. Then slowly, that invisible shape turned toward me. I couldn't see a face, but I knew it was looking right at me. Then the machine went wild. Beep, 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 beep. Then flatline. A long, continuous sound. Beep. I stepped back quickly, my breath shaking. The room felt colder instantly, like all the air had been pulled out. And then I heard it, a deep inhale, right in front of me, like someone taking their first breath after dying. The flat line stopped. The screen came back. Heart rate returned. Slow, weak, alive again. I couldn't move. I couldn't think. Then the voice came again, clear this time, stronger. Don't let me die. I stumbled back toward the door, my body shaking. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to be there. But before I could leave, the door behind me slammed shut, hard. The sound echoed through the room. I turned around fast. My hand grabbed the handle. I tried to open it. It wouldn't move. Locked from the outside. My breathing got faster. I pulled harder. Nothing. Then slowly, I felt something behind me. Very close. Too close. And a voice right next to my ear. If you leave, I'll follow you. I froze. My hand was still on the door handle. But I stopped pulling. That voice, it wasn't far away anymore. It was right behind me. Close enough that I could feel the air move when it spoke. If you leave, I'll follow you. My chest tightened. Slowly, very slowly, I turned my head. Nothing. The room looked empty, but the feeling, it was stronger now, like someone was standing inches away from me, watching, waiting. I swallowed hard, tried to breathe, tried to think. I forced myself to turn around fully. The bed was still there, but something was different. The sheets were no longer flat. They were pressed down, like someone was still sitting there, facing me. Then slowly, the sheets shifted. Like something stood up, right off the bed. I stepped back until my back hit the door. I had nowhere to go. The air in the room felt heavy, cold. I could barely breathe. Then, footsteps, soft, slow, coming toward me. But there was nothing there. Nothing I could see. Step, 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 getting closer. My heart was pounding so loud, I thought I would pass out. Then it stopped. right in front of me. Silence. Complete silence. And then the door handle moved by itself. My hand was still on it. I felt it turn. Slowly. The lock clicked. I didn't wait. I pulled the door open and stumbled out into the hallway. I almost fell. My legs felt weak. I turned back to look inside the room. The lights flickered once, twice, then went back to normal. The bed, empty again, flat, like nothing had ever been there. I stepped away from the door, breathing hard, trying to calm down. This wasn't real. It couldn't be. Then I heard footsteps behind me. I turned fast. A nurse was walking down the hallway. Finally, someone else. Relief hit me instantly. "Hey," I called out. She stopped, looked at me. Her face looked confused. "Are you okay?" she asked. I nodded quickly. "Yeah, room 307. There's something wrong with the monitor." Her expression changed. Not fear, something else, something serious. She looked toward the room, then back at me, and said something that made my stomach drop. "Room 307 hasn't been used in years." I stared at her. "What do you mean?" She didn't answer right away. Just looked at me like she was deciding something. Then she said quietly, "There was a patient there a long time ago." My chest tightened. "What happened to him?" She hesitated, then finally said, "He died during a night shift." The hallway suddenly felt colder. My hands started shaking again. "What was his name?" I asked. She looked at me and said, "Daniel Hayes." I felt my heart skip, because that was the same name on the monitor. I couldn't speak. I just stood there, staring at her. Daniel Hayes. The same name on the monitor. The same room. The same thing I just saw. "That's not possible," I said. My voice didn't sound like mine anymore. "I checked that room earlier tonight. It was empty." She didn't answer right away. She just looked at me, serious. Then she said quietly, "People say sometimes the system turns on by itself." A chill ran down my spine. "What do you mean?" She took a slow breath. "After he died, strange things started happening. I didn't like where this was going." "Like what?" She glanced toward room 307 again, then back at me. Monitors turning on, doors opening, footsteps at night. My hands started shaking again. "That's exactly what just happened," I said. She looked at me, and I could tell she believed me. That made it worse. "Some nurses say they hear him," she continued. "Hear what?" She paused, then said, "Asking for help." My chest felt tight again. The voice inside the room. "Don't let me die." That's exactly what I heard. "This is crazy," I whispered. "It gets worse," she said. I looked at her. "What do you mean worse?" She hesitated again, like she didn't want to say it. But then she did. "He didn't die peacefully." The hallway felt colder instantly. "How did he die?" She looked straight at me. "His heart stopped, but the machines didn't alert anyone in time." My stomach dropped. "He was alone?" She nodded slowly. "Night shift. Everyone thought the room was empty." I felt sick. That room, they thought it was empty, just like tonight. "He kept trying to call for help," she said quietly, "but no one came." I couldn't breathe for a second, because now it all made sense. The monitor, the voice, the bed. He wasn't just there. He was repeating it, reliving it, over and over again. Then suddenly, the lights in the hallway flickered. Once, twice. We both looked up. Then, from inside room 307, the monitor started again. Beep, 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 louder than before. More urgent. The nurse next to me went silent. Her face turned pale. "That hasn't happened in a long time," she whispered. The beeping got faster. Beep, 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 like someone was dying again. Right now, I looked at the door. My heart started racing. "He's back," I said quietly. The nurse grabbed my arm. "Don't go in there again." But I couldn't stop myself, because I knew something. This wasn't random. He wasn't just showing himself. He was trying to tell me something, trying to make me understand. The beeping turned into a panic alarm. Loud, sharp, echoing through the hallway. I pulled my arm away and stepped toward the door. Slowly, the nurse behind me said something, but I didn't listen. I reached the handle. My hand was shaking, and just before I opened it, the beeping stopped. Complete silence. I froze. Then, from inside the room, I heard it again. That voice. Weak. Broken. "Help me?" I stood there, my hand on the door handle. That voice. It sounded weaker this time. Not angry. Not threatening. Just desperate. "Help me?" I closed my eyes for a second, took a deep breath, then I opened the door. Slowly. The room was dark again. The light that was on before, now completely off. Only the monitor was glowing. Soft green light. Beep, beep, beep. Slow. Weak. Like a fading heartbeat. I stepped inside. The air felt colder than before. Heavier. like the room didn't want me there, but needed me at the same time. The door behind me closed on its own. This time, I didn't panic. I just stood there, looking at the bed. The mattress was moving again, slowly sinking, like someone was lying there, struggling to breathe. The monitor suddenly changed, heart rate dropping, fast, beep, 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 slower now. I walked closer. Every step felt wrong, but I kept going. I reached the side of the bed. My hand slowly moved forward, and this time, I didn't stop. I touched the mattress. It wasn't empty. It felt like something was there, warm, real. My heart started racing again. Then suddenly, the room changed. Not physically, but something shifted. The air felt thicker, heavier, and I started hearing something. Voices, faint at first, then clearer, people talking, running, machines beeping loudly. Like I wasn't in the present anymore. Like I was hearing what happened before. Then I heard a voice, a man's voice, weak, struggling. Please, someone. My chest tightened. That was him. Daniel. The monitor suddenly went wild. Beep, beep, beep. Fast, loud. Then alarms. Emergency alarms. But no one came. No footsteps. No nurses. No doctors. Just silence. And him, dying. Right in front of me. Then suddenly, everything stopped. The voices, the alarms, gone. Back to silence. The monitor went flat. One long sound. Beep. My eyes widened. No. I pressed my hand harder on the mattress. I'm here. I'm here. My voice shaking. Then suddenly, I felt it. A hand grabbed my wrist. Tight, cold, but real. I gasped. My body froze. I couldn't pull away. Then slowly, that voice came again, right in front of me, not weak anymore. Clear, close. You stayed. My heart was pounding out of my chest. I'm trying to help you, I said, my voice shaking. The grip on my wrist tightened. Then it said something that made my blood run cold. I don't need help anymore. The monitor suddenly turned back on. Heart rate normal again. Beep, beep, beep. The pressure on my wrist disappeared. I stumbled back, breathing hard. The bed went flat again. Empty. The room felt normal. Too normal. Like nothing had happened. I stood there, frozen, trying to understand. Then slowly, the monitor screen changed. Patient status updated. From critical to stable. I stepped back toward the door, my hand shaking again. I opened it. The hallway was there. Bright, normal. The nurse was still standing outside, looking at me, shocked. What happened? She asked. I looked back inside the room. Everything was quiet, still, empty. I swallowed hard. I think my voice almost broke. He's not alone anymore. I didn't go back into that room again. Not that night. Not ever. After what happened, I told myself it was over. Whatever was in room 307, whatever was left of Daniel Hayes, it was finally at peace. At least that's what I wanted to believe. The rest of my shift was quiet. Too quiet. No alarms. No strange sounds. No footsteps. Nothing. Morning came. Sunlight filled the hospital halls. Everything looked normal again. Safe. Like nothing had ever happened. I went home, exhausted. My body was tired, but my mind wouldn't stop. I kept thinking about that moment. The voice. The hand. You stayed. I don't need help anymore. What did that mean? Did I really help him? Or did I do something else? I tried to sleep, but I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that room, that bed, that invisible shape. That night changed something. I could feel it. Days passed, then nights. Nothing strange happened again. No calls, no voices, no signs. I slowly started to relax, started to believe it was over, until 3 nights later. I was back on duty, same shift, same hospital. I didn't want to come back, but I needed the job. Everything was normal at first. Patients sleeping, nurses doing rounds. No problems. Then, at exactly 2:13 a.m., the monitor at the nurse station made a sound. My heart dropped instantly. I turned slowly. I already knew what I was going to see. Room 307. But this time, it wasn't showing a heartbeat. The screen was different. There was a message. Just one line. I stepped closer, my hand shaking. The screen read, Room 308. My chest tightened. I looked down the hallway. Room 308 was right next to 307, occupied. A real patient inside, sleeping. I looked back at the monitor. It updated again. Patient status, critical. The sound started. Beep, beep, beep. Fast, loud. Real, not like before. This time, someone was actually dying. I ran down the hallway, straight to room 308. I pushed the door open. The patient was on the bed, struggling. The machines were going crazy, just like before, exactly like before. My heart started racing. No, 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 no. This was happening again. But this time, it wasn't just a memory. It was real. I moved fast, called for help, pressed the emergency button. People started running in. Doctors, nurses, everything happened so quickly. But this time, he wasn't alone. We were there. We didn't miss it. We didn't ignore it. And after a few long seconds, the monitor slowed, then stabilized. Beep, beep, beep. Normal. The patient survived. I stepped back, breathing hard, my hands shaking. Then slowly, I looked at the monitor. The screen changed again. For just a second, just 1 second, before going back to normal. And in that moment, I saw something. A name, not the patient's name. A different one. Daniel Hayes. Then it disappeared. Like it was never there. I stood there, frozen, because I finally understood. He didn't want help anymore. He wanted someone else to be saved. And somehow, he made sure this time no one was left alone. But even now, sometimes during night shift, at exactly 2:13 a.m., the monitor flickers for a second, and I swear I hear a voice, very faint, very far away, saying, "Thank you. If this story gave you chills, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more true scary stories. And tell me in the comments, would you go back to work after a night like this?"